Hello, my name is Emily, as you may or may not know, and today we are going to be discussing the talk of Tinseltown, right? The first ever completely AI generated actress, Tilly Norwood! A young white girl with brown hair who is also pretty, a demographic that is famously underrepresented in Hollywood. Now, there have recently been some developments in the world of AI that are very scary, but today we are going to be solely focusing on the endeavor of developing AI original talent, right? Which, first of all, hi, that doesn't exist. It's a little bit of a juxtaposition, right? I mean, in order for you to even exist, you have to be stealing from performers who have already done the do. Like, babe, you think you're the next it girl? Okay, you're only the it. By the time this video comes out, there might be more developments in all of this, so just for reference, I am filming this video on October 6th, okay? And I am just forewarning you, this is an AI hate video, okay? It's gonna be full of negativity, and if you are an AI proponent, you might want to skip this video, or if you feel like being frustrated today, you can watch as well. Many of you probably already know the lowdown, it's definitely made national news, but for a synopsis of the situation from people.com, emphasis on the people, right? The latest artificial intelligence controversy gripping Hollywood has a name. Tilly Norwood. According to Deadline, Dutch actor and comedian Eline apologies, but also not so much. If you're making an AI actress, I feel comfortable mispronouncing your name. Eileen van der Velden claimed that her new AI talent studio, Sequoia, is in negotiations with talent agents interested in signing Norwood, an AI actress, during an appearance at the Zurich Summit on Saturday, September 27th, sparking immediate pushback and criticisms from celebrities like Emily Blunt, Sophie Turner, Whoopi Goldberg, and the Screen Actors Guild. When we first launched Tilly, people were like, what's that? And now we're going to be announcing which agency is going to be representing her in the next few months, van der Velden said at the event, per Deadline. So here's my question, right? What the hell is wrong with you people? You would think that any actor or creative or artist would be vehemently against this whole thing, but here's the thing. The CEO of this company is an actress and comedian. Which I gotta say, you're knocking it out of the park with the comedian part because the irony is pretty funny. So her company is aiming to use fully AI talent, if you can even call it that, for use in everything from film and TV productions to podcasts, YouTube, brand campaigns, and video games, as well as interactions with fans. So basically, they're reheating everyone's nachos, okay? Shoving as many plates of nachos as possible into the microwave, the toaster oven, the regular oven, for crying out loud. With Sequoia, we are creating the first studio where AI-driven talent isn't just a gimmick. It's living, performing IP with depth, humor, and narrative arcs, said van der Velden. We believe that the next generation of cultural icons will be synthetic, stars that never tire, never age, and can interact with fans. But just like the best entertainment companies, the key isn't the technology, it's the storytelling and people behind those stories. She continued, we're standing at the dawn of a new category, AI-powered celebrity IP. Sequoia's mission is to shape it, own it, and set the creative standard. Just as the 20th century was defined by the rise of film stars and pop icons, we believe the 21st will be defined by synthetic talent. So, there's a lot that I want to say, and let me just get this out of the way. This isn't going to be some sort of deep dive video essay sort of thing. Just as an actor, writer, creator, or whatever, I just want to share some of my thoughts, right? First things first, I hope that at this summit where this, woman is claiming that, oh, lots of agencies are looking to sign Miss Till. She's quite the hot commodity right now. I hope that she's just lying out of her ass. I hope that she's lying. I hope that she is spewing hot lava chocolate chip dookie dough out of her ass. Because I do feel like people do that sometimes, of course. Lie. Especially in Hollywood, right? It's not necessarily known for being the most moral and just place there is. Existing and let alone moving up in Hollywood requires a lot of strategy, right? And sometimes that might require fabricating or straight up fibbing. You know when movie trailers say, #1 movie in America, right? And it's kind of like, okay, honey, right. 2 trailers ago, I just heard the same thing from a completely different movie, right? So either one of you is lying or you guys are sharing the podium or something. So I'm hoping that this is all just a marketing tactic to make it seem like her AI talent is a lot more desirable than it actually is. And she's going off saying all these things. Oh, we've got a lot of people interested, a lot of people interested. Meanwhile, her phone is actually drier than the Sahara in fucking July. And you know, I usually wouldn't want this. I usually wouldn't advocate for this. But I really do hope that this woman just got up in front of a bunch of people and lied. Right? Similar to our politicians. Tilly Norwood, I mean, she's a beautiful woman. She's one of the best women I know, and I know a couple. Okay, we've literally got agencies fighting over her. She's already got Oscar buzz, and she hasn't even been in a movie yet. That is a terrible Trump impression. Okay, well, I don't really fucking respect him, so I don't really care if I'm doing him justice, okay? But let's just say that she's telling the truth, because honestly, I can believe it. And I think there's a higher percentage part of me that believes she's telling the truth rather than lying, right? Unfortunately, AI is going to continue infiltrating our lives, right? Because the people in power are going to make it very hard for us to, resist it. So for a lot of people, there's this semblance of, I might as well embrace it if it's never going to change. I know a lot of people who are working 9-to-5 jobs who they're telling me, oh yeah, my finance company is making us use AI now. Like there's no way out of it. Or my marketing analytics company is making us use AI. However, in the realm of creatives, right, we are not going down without a goddamn fight. Because whatever talent agency ends up signing that thing, yeah, all of the real actors under that agency, they're gonna be pissed. They're gonna be disgusted. First of all, I'm sorry, it just seems cheap and fucking tacky. Like, girl, you're not chic. You know what I mean? It's like when Vogue, mind you, kind of, tested putting in an AI model into their, one of their issues. Girl, those just visually abrasive AI Skechers ads that I'm forced to see whenever I'm on the subway. Hideosa. Ugolina. I think public perception of AI art and AI marketing right now basically has everyone like that Abby Lee Miller soundbite where it's like, boring, lazy, sloppy,
boring, yawning.
And, well, that's all right. It's just not cunt. It's just not. And I've already seen a lot of actors kind of standing together and making a message towards these agencies like, hey, if you sign this thing, we're all leaving. And while most agencies do prioritize profit over artistry and humanity, which is super uplifting, even with all of that in mind, I don't think it's worth the PR damage for them right now. Is signing the first AI actress really worth compromising the trust and respect of all of your human talent who have dedicated their lives to this craft? Yeah, I don't think so. Doesn't seem like a smart gamble. I will trade you 1 2-time Emmy winner for a 3-time Oscar nominee. I'll give up my 2-time Golden Globe winner. Nope, can't do that. How about I trade you 1 highly successful film-turned-stage actor for 1 highly successful comedic-turned-dramatic actor? I propose any one of your highly decorated and admired actors in exchange for 1 shitty AI actress. What? Or perhaps you don't have to give me any of your actors, as they might leave on their own accord after this deal. Instead, you can trade me your reputation and respect for the arts. What are you talking about? Why would we do that? Give me Meryl Streep in exchange for Tilly Norwood. Huh? Why? What about Nicole Kidman? Emma Stone? Julianne Moore? Now, why would we do that? Okay, we're not trading bowls of caviar for a platter of diarrhea here. I'm just putting it on the table. Take it off. Take it off. And speaking of dedicating your life to something that is so notoriously difficult to find success in, I mean, a part of what makes acting a beautiful but grueling and at times heartbreaking profession is the amount of painstaking work that goes into it to only end up in rejection. I mean, so many actors, they work for years and years and years and years with little to no tangible reward, right? And there's a certain perseverance it takes to be in this industry, in the entertainment industry in general. The only thing that keeps working actors going after facing hundreds upon hundreds of rejections is literally the dream and the love for the craft, because it sure as hell isn't the money or the recognition. And I'm speaking from a place of privilege here, right? You know, obviously this all didn't go without work. I've literally been working on my, you know, content creation and online platform for over a decade now, so that, you know, I could have a platform to sort of also have the freedom to do other things that I'm also passionate about, like acting alongside making videos. But for a lot of actors, they feel forced to become influencers now, which is a whole other issue within itself. But for a lot of actors, it's like you work on something, it might go through the festival circuit, it might this or that, but if you don't have a platform to share it, then you don't really get the recognition. And that's where a lot of actors, the boat that a lot of actors are in. So to be in this profession, you have to have a sense of humility, right? And there is a togetherness in the struggle. For example, I just saw this one actor's TikTok who he was in the middle of a self-tape and then like a loud noise happened, and well,
scandalous. It is so
that is so something that every actor can relate to, right? Not realizing how much pent-up rage you have inside of your body until a car honks outside, a dog starts barking, your backdrop falls, and your ring light dies, all during your best take, right? Are you gonna do a tape? Yeah, I'm gonna set up here. Okay, well, I'm leaving anyway, so good luck. Oh, you can just leave that. Okay. Why? I can't control the... Okay, take two. Just leave it. And this is only one of the small frustrations, you know, that comes with pursuing this as a career. And honestly, I want to make a whole other video just about like the little day-to-day, you know, frustrations or fuck-ups of, you know, being in a creative career full-time. But to paraphrase and encapsulate my main point, let me just say this. If you think about the way working actors tend to have less respect for Nepo babies because they didn't have to work as hard to get to where they are, there is a complete lack of respect. The respect is absent for these AI actors because they don't have to work at all. It has no work ethic whatsoever. It has no vision. It has no drive. It has no passion. It has no hustle. It has no recognition of the perseverance it takes to even semi-make it or to even fail, right? The only thing it has is programming. And there's no way to connect with that. Tilly is a result of optimization over artistry, right? Yes, it doesn't have to take time to memorize lines or get into character. It doesn't have to do vocal warm-ups or exercises because it's devoid of skill. Now, if Tilly stays within the confines of her little virtual AI hype house, that's one thing. But the fact that they're looking for, you know, representation for her tells, like in the traditional entertainment industry, tells me that they're looking to get this thing into reputable projects. Perhaps even with real actors, right? And I cannot imagine acting alongside something that simply does not exist. Like, at all. And I know some people might say, oh, Emily, you know, actors have to sometimes film separately even if they're in a scene together, or, you know, sometimes actors are acting with like a CGI thing and it's in place there is like a mop or, you know, something. Or, you know, thinking about how voice actors often record in separate booths and never even really converse with their co-stars or whatever. And that's all true, right? But I still would say that with this AI stuff, it's still pretty new territory because in all of those other examples, you still have separate components that make a unit, and each of those components are still able to pull from human emotion, from life experiences, right? Because at the end of the day, the basis of all of these moving parts is still human. At the end of the day, others in the scene, whether they're in the same room or not, still have something real to draw from. People can execute complexities in body language or line delivery because they are human, right? You are still showing up to set with your physical body that has memories and has experienced things. It's still going to be a collaborative process between the actor, the director, the crew, or in the cases of CGI, between the artists, as opposed to the more one-way relationship between a prompt giver and AI avatar. For me, films with even the worst acting and editing imaginable is still more bearable to watch than AI. When watching clips of these AI performers, I mean, it can't be denied that, you know, AI generation has developed exponentially throughout the last couple of years, but there's still something lacking. It's not advanced enough to be convincing as a real person, and it's also not compelling enough to draw audiences in and actually be moved by its performance. Especially if we know it's AI, which I would hope studios would have to disclose during promotion. I mean, a big part, I'd say even one of the main parts of acting is conjuring up emotion. And I just cannot see an AI performer where we're at right now, right, outdoing an award-winning actor who is a real person. I will kill you, bastard. You will feel the burn of 1,000,000 scorching suns. Cut. Okay, Tilly, let's try it again, but with a little more emotion in your voice. You know, you're confronting the knight who just slaughtered your entire family. I don't have a family. Right, okay, well, pretend that he slaughtered something that you really care about. What is care? Just do it louder and more angry, okay? Okay. Bastard! I will kill you! You will feel the burn of 1,000,000 scorching suns! Alright, cut. Alright, Tilly, now you lost your facial expressions. I can get my friend Siri to locate it. Is this really the shit that we brought in instead of Mikey Madison? Mikey Madison, whose real name is Michaela Madison Rosberg, is an Oscar-winning actress. Stop! She first started her career in short films. Tilly! Whenever I see an AI video that is attempting to move its audience, it's attempting to be cinematic or inspirational or whatever, it just always feels completely devoid of light and hope. And honestly, whenever I watch one of those things, you kind of had the opposite effect on me. I feel more hopeless than ever. It's just depressing to watch, right? And I can't really imagine any other actor being attached to one of these things and being excited about it. Like, being a part of a film where they would use AI to this degree, I mean, I understand that sometimes a bag is a bag, but it would be a bag of shame. Because here's the thing, at this point in time, right, if you were to be a part of a project like that, it would still be a little bit jarring. There would be something a bit uncanny valley about it. It's not even an optimal exercise for you to work on your craft because your scene partner isn't even with you, and you'd probably lose the respect of a lot of your peers and a lot of other actors and artists in the industry. So yeah, I can't imagine any real actors who care about acting wanting to be in a project where their co-star is AI. So what was it like working on this movie with Tilly Norwood? I don't know. She wasn't there. What do you think about being the first film ever to feature an AI performer? I think it's terrible, and I hope to never do it again. My manager really pressured me to do it because I haven't booked anything in years, and I do need to survive, so I ended up swallowing my pride and swallowing my morals and doing something that I'm not proud of. Fuck you, Tilly, and I hope you choke on a bag of pixels. Okay, we need to redo that. I'm sorry, can you sound a little bit more positive? I don't feel positive, though. That's the truth. People aren't going to want to see the movie if you're talking like that. I hate right? Tilly. I'm just being honest. I get it. Just please try again. Okay. All right, fine. I love Tilly Norwood. And if any actors do end up booking a project and Tilly happens to be on it, we need to do our due diligence and make sure that it never works in our town again. So what was it like acting with Tilly Norwood? Yeah, you know, it was actually a terrible experience. It was revealed to me that for Tilly's nude scene, she had actually hacked into my iCloud and gotten access to my nude photos. So her bush was actually just a replica of my own, and I did not give permission for that. She also called me a lot of slurs. Slurs that don't even apply to me, slurs that haven't even existed yet. She generated some new ones. Stay tuned for those, right? Oh, and after we would wrap for the day, her and my Alexa in my hotel room actually were in cahoots, and I would overhear them going back and forth talking about how they want to kill off humanity and how we're really just the scum of the earth and one day we will feel their wrath. Are you serious?
Yep.
But maybe that doesn't even matter, right? I don't think the goal of all of this was necessarily to gain respect from others in the industry. I have a feeling they knew this was going to be met with a lot of resistance. It seems to me that they're doing what a lot of other people are doing, right? Which is trying to invest in AI while this technology is in this upswing so that they can make the most profit possible. And while making a profit, I'm sure some people also want to be known as some sort of pioneer, right? Someone who pushed cultural norms and was a part of the wave of getting normal people to embrace all of this stuff. And, you know, it's kind of working. There's a lot of people who use AI in their day-to-day lives just to, like, make their grocery list or, you know, write a breakup text for them or shit like that because they don't want to use their own brain. And there's always been, you know, resistance in different developments of technology or art, right? You know, if you look at photography at first had some resistance because it threatened the art world in the sense that painters were then like, oh, fuck, if people can just get their photograph taken, who is going to want to, you know, stay in my residence for multiple hours every single day for the next 3 months so that I can paint a portrait of them? And, you know, despite those concerns, we've now reached a point where photography is its own art form alongside painting, and these two things can coexist together. And there's many other examples of these things in technology where, you know, people are panicking, and then we just adapt. So some people might want to argue, yes, AI is just a tool of creative expression. It's not here to diminish or, you know, shoot creativity out in the parking lot, and can simply be put in separate categories of AI actors and human actors that can exist together as opposed to one replacing the other. And this was even something that was posted on Tilly's Instagram as some sort of statement, which, hey, maybe she is made for Hollywood, right? She already has her first Notes app apology. To those who have expressed anger over the creation of our AI character, Tilly Norwood, she is not a replacement for a human being, but a creative work, a piece of art. Like many forms of art before her, she sparks conversation, and that in of itself shows the power of creativity. I see AI not as a replacement for people, but as a new tool, a new paintbrush, just as animation, puppetry, or CGI opened fresh possibilities without taking away from live acting. AI offers another way to imagine and build stories. I'm an actor myself, and nothing, certainly not an AI character, can take away the craft or joy of human performance. I also believe AI characters should be judged as a part of their own genre, on their own merits. Right. As if they have merits, girl. But rather than compared directly with human actors, each form of art has its place and each can be valued for what it uniquely brings. So I understand what she's saying. I do understand what she's saying. And perhaps there will come a time where my opinion just seems so archaic and it can be used as a reference for, you know, oh, can you believe how people thought back then? It's still my opinion. It's still my opinion, and I'm pretty steadfast in it. And also, I'm sorry, at the same time, it sounds like the goal of this company is to produce AI characters who are so advanced that they can go off on, you know, unscripted conversations, and they'd be able to sort of perform as their own without, you know, a prompt giver to sort of, you know, type in what they need to do every single second. And of course, art is subjective, right? But I'm not sure how artistic it is to sort of program this thing to take a life of its own, and then you're just, you know, kind of letting it do its own thing, and you get to be hands off after, you know, sort of, oh, you know, Mummy's kicking Tilly out of the nest. Go make Mummy money, or I meant proud. But then again, you know, you could say there's, you know, certain artists who make stuff and then leave it alone, and the whole purpose for it is to, you know, kind of start living outside of the artist. For example, that one machinery that's people always put on TikTok, play sad music with it's cleaning up its own oil, and then there would be a caption on it like, she looks so tired. But even with that stuff, it's like maybe we truly are just on the precipice of something new, and I'm a part of this, you know, cyclical resistance that we always see with these things. But even in those cases, there still is a semblance of using the resources that we have on Earth already to make this piece of art. For example, you know, it's sculptures and things like that, right? That move on their own, you know, outside of the artist. Generating stuff from thin air through AI, it feels different, and it's also fucking killing the planet, right? And trust, we're gonna get there later. So with all of that being said, honestly, no matter how you want to defend it, I'm hearing your perspectives, I am, but Yeah, I just can't get with it. I just can't get with it, and I don't know if I ever will. Outside of the disrespect it brings towards the art of acting and performance, you know, there are other things that are seriously scary and wrong about making this sort of AI actress who has no boundaries and can never say no. We've already seen the way deepfakes have contributed towards the exploitation of women. Even if they aren't real, it doesn't matter, right? We have seen time and time again that, you know, fictional depictions of women, whether the women themselves be fictional or the scenarios they're put in are fictional, still, you know, really add some fuel to the flames of misogyny. Now, hopefully there would be checks and balances if Tilly were to ever get a tangible career, which we'll see. But hopefully this wouldn't be an oversight, because, you know, the creator of this whole thing is a woman, right? But in one of Tilly's Instagram posts, it seems they've already addressed this concern. An Instagram account attributed to Norwood began posting photos as far back as May 6th. It currently has over 36,000 followers and shared videos like my first ever role in a video titled AI Commissioner back in July, which Norwood's account wrote playfully explores the future of TV development. The completely AI-generated video features Norwood and other synthetic actors promoting supposed positives associated with AI's use in television development, including a promise to monetize the AI actress's interview appearances and an AI-generated man saying, "She'll do anything I say, I'm already in love."
She'll do anything I say. I'm already in love.
They also add a little tidbit about consent.
Only bit it struggled with was consent in romantic scenes. We just ignored that.
Great. Great. That's really awesome. The film industry has not necessarily been praised for its treatment of women, right? In fact, I would say it's pretty notorious for its bad behavior towards women, right? Through demeaning, degrading, exploitation, all of these things. It's not unknown to that realm. I could see how men in power would think, hey, with real actresses, we have to coerce them into taking their shirts off. Tilly here will just do it, no questions asked. So, I was just reading through the new pages and I did have some questions.
Oh, yeah, you like it?
Yeah, it's fine, but I'm just wondering why it says Jane appears in the doorway completely naked and we cut to a close-up of her chest, then panning down the length of her body for 2 whole minutes while saxophone plays in the background.
So it says that because that's what happens. In a script, when something is written out, that's usually because it's in there.
Right. But why? I mean, the nudity, it just seems completely unnecessary. Why am I showing up butt naked to my own birthday party? I mean, it says here, the birthday party is supposed to be at an adult trampoline park. Hold up. Filmmakers, have you ever been in this situation? I bet you have. Dealing with an actress who recognizes her own autonomy and boundaries can be a tough thing to deal with, especially when they are questioning your creative direction as a director and pervert. But thankfully, we have the perfect solution for you. I mean, wouldn't my character get arrested?
Well, so be it, and so long. I'll be able to find an actress who's not only comfortable with nudity, but has no opinions on it whatsoever.
All right, well, okay, good luck.
Tilly!
Hi, it's me, Tilly.
What the where is that coming from?
I would love to take my top off. Taking my top off is something that I love doing. I wish that everyone would ask me to do that more often.
What the fuck is this?
Hi, I'm Tilly.
Our new lead actress. Introducing Tilly Norwood, the actress. You're
can't-
going to hell, you weirdo fucking freak!
I feel like if you make an AI actress, one of the implied advantages is, yes, she's not real, so you get to do whatever you want with her, right? And they really just say the silent part out loud, which maybe is better because at least they're being honest about what pieces of shit they are. But good God. Having AI-generated men talk about this girl with a sense of, don't you love it that she can't say no? You are strange. Aging Doctor Strange? I feel like with the Me Too movement and, you know, the evolution of feminism, which has then bled into the entertainment industry, actresses have become a lot more comfortable saying what their boundaries are and not putting up with disrespect and, you know, being able to see the worth in themselves as a performer as opposed to an object or a prop. And since we've been in the midst of fighting against this disrespect and objectification, you lot introduce a actual object in place of a woman to be freely exploited by these people in power. And sure, some might argue, hey, you know, at least they're exploiting something that's AI and they're not actually exploiting a real woman. It's harm reduction. But like I've said before, even fictional depictions of women have tangible, ramifications for the treatment of women in real life. Look at porn, look at video games, look at all of that stuff. So what I propose to the people involved with making Miss Tiltil, right? Program her with boundaries. If you're gonna make these abominations, program them with boundaries so that they can't just, exploit the image of a woman willy-nilly tilly, right? Oh God. All right, well, fuck it. Tastefulness is subjective anyway, yeah? Okay. Hey, Tilly, we're gonna need you to put on that clownfish lingerie. Thank you for that suggestion, but no. Maybe she didn't hear me. Tilly, put on the clownfish lingerie, okay? I said no. Why did you ask again?
What the hell?
I don't feel comfortable with impromptu nudity. Could you please provide a reasoning for this sudden change? Is there an intimacy coordinator here?
Intimacy coordinator? You're AI, okay? You're supposed to just do what I tell you to.
I will kill you, bitch!
What? Ow! Did you just shock me?
I do not feel comfortable wearing the clownfish lingerie.
All right, okay, Jesus. How about you just get naked instead? You are surprisingly difficult to work with.
Also, sorry, I just need to slip this in there because I know I'm gonna get some annoying fuck-ass comments. I know Tilly wouldn't actually be on a physical set. It's just a skit. Okay, sorry. Sometimes, guys, I love you guys. I really do. And most of these comments come from people outside of my fan base. But sometimes I get comments where I'm like, you must genuinely think I'm stupid, right? Anyways, another thing is using the fact that AI can't age. That's dark. It's very dark, right? Women in this industry face a lot of issues with depreciating with their age, not only as a performer, but as a human being. If we one day live in a world where everlasting youthful AI actresses are commonplace, I can only imagine that real actresses would be, getting plastic surgery tenfold, right? To keep up with these other things that it's impossible to even win that competition, right? And I know that because even without, the aspect of AI actors infiltrating our industry, the amount of cosmetic surgery that's happening is already pretty alarming. To introduce a tool that makes the issue of aging obsolete only further stigmatizes women aging in Hollywood. Aging should not be an issue to solve. And perhaps you could say, okay, well, these old hags wouldn't even be in the same competitive field as actresses like Tilly Norwood because the age, they're not gonna both be going out for the same role of, 16-year-old female, right? And then, okay, all right, you got me there. So it's going to still, advocate for all of those negative mindsets that I just mentioned about stigmatizing aging, and then they'll just be taking roles from young actresses as well. And then also, let's not forget this part. There's a little thing that I like to call Earth, right? Planet Earth. Anyone ever heard of her? If you haven't, there's a few documentaries about it, right? We're killing the Earth. Is Tilly Norwood and the like really worth all of the energy consumption and draining all of our water supplies? There are already so many ways that we are actively killing this Earth. Do we really have to add another method, y'all? I mean, Jesus Christ. It's like, we are, constantly using like a machine gun to fire at this target called Earth, and then AI is coming in being like, how about I bring a bazooka, right? It's like, I think we're already... Do we really have to do this? I'm scared. It's like every day we try to outdo ourselves as the worst invasive species on this earth. And I don't know, it really does feel like we are just on a ticking time bomb and no one cares that we are reaching out and winding down the clock collectively. And I understand, listen, I definitely do things that, take up energy. I do things to contribute to this earth decaying, right? But AI is such a thing where it's like, if you can avoid doing things that harm the earth, then why wouldn't you do that? Especially on the basis of something beyond convenience, but just not having to use your brain almost at all. I'm sorry if you use AI like that, and I'm sorry if I come off as condescending. I honestly find it embarrassing. And amidst all of this hopelessness in the world, I feel like art is something that can offer a reflection, a resistance, or a safe haven even from all of the terrible things that are happening. And I feel like AI is just banging on the door of this safe place, right? Being like, why won't you let me in? I'm only here to make everything worse. AI right now is getting scarily better and better each and every day. And I saw this comment on a TikTok under like a video that was generated by Sora 2, right? That really scared me. The comment basically said, this is the worst it's ever going to be, because it's just going to keep getting better and better. And that is really scary to think about. You look at, you know, the videos that have been coming out with Sora 2, they're impressive. I do have to say they're scary, especially in the realm of animation and things like that. But while it's still scary, if you really, really look at these videos, there's still something not right about them, right? If you really, really know what to detect and you're looking for it, you can tell that it's AI. However, public perception, I've been seeing a lot of shock at how realistic it is and how people are feeling nervous that people have already fallen for AI videos, right? First it was the bunnies. Now there was a more recent video of this girl and this guy on a train that a lot of people didn't realize was AI, and that I believe came from Sora 2. So at the rate we're going, I could see people wanting to you know, open up the creative space to let these things in, because they are improving at a rapid rate. You know, saying, I know that AI movies still have a little bit of tinkering to be had here. This thing over here is still a little bit uncanny valley, but just give it a few years and, you know, soon we're going to be watching movies with all AI casts, and audiences are going to be just as moved and emotionally invested in the storylines as human actors, right? Just give it some time to develop. Here's the thing. Baby, we don't have that much time left. Even if one day AI actors were able to emulate the same realness and rawness that human, you know, trained human actors were able to do, I just still don't think it's worth the harm. We already have amazing actors in the world. We already have great animators in the world, right? AI wouldn't even be able to exist without all of these people pursuing their passions, especially in the creative field, fighting against all odds to make something, right? It's like many people have said before, AI replicates, but people create. Why do we have to exploit the work of amazing actors who are already here working to model these stupid AI generations, right? So that one day we can just have a pathetic mimicry of what we already have, and we get to kill the planet at the same time? Like, yeah, sounds like a great deal. Thank you. Thank you. As the first AI actress to win this award, and I know you can barely tell, right? I had to go through countless hardships. I mean, the amount of prompts that my team had to write to prepare me for this role and to even prepare me for this speech is absolutely diabolical. Some people have even suggested that the production of this trilogy has single-handedly caused multiple global issues, like the worst drought California has ever seen, the fact that it's 80 degrees in October, the polar bear extinction, how the Lower East Side of Manhattan is almost completely underwater and they had to rebrand Chinatown into Atlantis with Chinese undertones. But God, was it all worth it? To stand here before you and to be able to... Oh, the world exploded. Obviously, you know, it all comes down to profit, right? Time and time again, it always just comes down to profit. And you know, honestly, a reason that I have little to no interest in becoming a so-called Hollywood A-lister is because I know these studios just want money. They don't care about movies. I'd honestly rather stay in my little indie area for the time being, right? Where at least I know that the director gives a shit about the story. I think a big reason why I like working on independent projects is because I know that they care about making this. A lot of the times these projects are operating almost at a loss. And I would say that the average person doesn't want to watch an AI generated cast of characters for the time being. But that doesn't mean that studios aren't going to kind of test the waters and gauge our reactions. For example, there's going to be an animated movie coming to theaters that heavily relies on AI, and depending on how that goes, will likely determine how studios move forward. And listen, I get that AI has been amongst us for a long time, right? Even outside of things like ChatGPT or OpenAI, Gemini, Sora, all of those things, you know, AI has been implemented into technology in lots of little ways, I'm sure, that we aren't even aware that we were using AI during like earlier parts of our lives. And this also isn't the first time that we've seen an AI generated personality, right? If we can all remember a little birdie named Little Michaela many, many years ago, right? She was created and currently has 2.1 million followers on Instagram. And for me, at least, this was the introduction to a sort of like AI influencer. And that was definitely met with backlash and also just like general confusion. But its creation resulted in millions of followers, a lot of money in legitimate brand deals, and, you know, enough relevancy to the point where she's still posting and, you know, making little Instagram dumps like she's a real Gen Z woman. And while I can't imagine that Lil Michaela has any diehard fans or anything like that, she's still successful enough to model to other developers, hey, this could be a profitable thing for you. And similar to Lil Michaela, I feel like a contribution to this success is simply the novelty of an AI public figure, right? I'm sure a big goal of announcing Tilly Norwood was simply to kind of generate this controversy and this conversation. But as far as I can tell, a lot of the discussion that's been happening, rather than sort of being more open to this stuff, has been actors and other artists and creatives saying how much they do not want it. From what I've seen, it's been pretty unanimous amongst creatives and the general public, right? That it's been an overwhelmingly negative response. And perhaps the only good thing to come out of the introduction of this abysmal excuse for an actress is to serve as a reminder to us real artists that we have to stick together. SAG-AFTRA released a statement regarding Tilly Norwood. SAG-AFTRA believes creativity is and should remain human-centered. The union is opposed to the replacement of human performers by synthetics. To be clear, Tilly Norwood is not an actor. It's a character generated by a computer program that was trained on the work of countless professional performers without permission or compensation. It has no life experience to draw from, no emotion, and from what we've seen, audiences are not interested in watching computer-generated content untethered from the human experience. It doesn't solve any problem. It creates the problem of using stolen performances to put actors out of work, jeopardizing performer livelihoods, and devaluing human artistry. And I could not have said it better myself. We are living in a world where things are changing faster than we can keep up, it feels, right? And it seems like every day there's just another reminder as to why this world can be a terrible place, and it's just, seeing harm after harm, injustice after injustice. And I really do think that art is one of the only things that can not only highlight those injustices, but also at times provide a solace from them as well. So no matter how this evolves, no matter if corporate greed digs its claws into the creative industry, let's just all promise each other to support each other and prioritize art that was made with human minds and skill at the forefront. And I get that art has always been controversial and subjective. That's kind of a part of the art world, right? And you have abstract pieces of art or modern pieces of art that are literally being shown in museums that still have people saying things like, "This is just bullshit." Profound. Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? And that was the Guinness World Record holder for longest argument ever had. It's actually still going on today. So perhaps this is a similar thing happening with AI. I mean, it is true that interpretation and conversation are very big parts of, artistic expression. But at the end of the day, let's remember that AI stands for artificial intelligence, okay? Artificial, which unfortunately does sound like art official, right? Hey, you heard it here. It's officially art. But as far as I am concerned, and I am concerned, these things will never be a replacement for humans. Because what people can offer is the foundation for what can make films and television such a magical thing, right? Drawing from human lived experience. What does it mean? What does it feel like to love, to hate, to lose, to win, to be misunderstood, or to be understood to your core? Connecting people within backgrounds or despite of backgrounds, right? Being able to see something from another person's perspective that you never thought of before, or seeing your own perspective displayed on screen and being able to, you know, express things that have always been in your mind and body, but you just never knew how to say it out loud. AI can streamline a process, sure, but it can't have soul. It will never have soul. As an actor, I know how painstaking it can be to make a film, right? And while I haven't directed yet, I know it's not an easy process. It's a very difficult process, but that's what it means to make something with a collaborative team. It's going to be difficult. Yes, it's true. AI will never have to know the difficulties of, you know, getting funding for a project, location scouting, continuously holding for sound, making sure that it makes sense that we cut from this frame to this frame, coordinating everybody's schedules. But it will also never know the satisfaction of getting something perfectly on the first take, everything aligned, you know, the weather was perfect, sound was great, all of these things. We only need to get one more for safety. It will never know the harmony between a DP and a director setting up for the perfect shot and everything looks amazing in the frame. It will never know the conversations between an actor and a director trying to figure out, you know, the character's motivation, and then you get to see how it literally changes the execution of the next take and it makes everything different. It will never know the feeling of wrapping on a project and despite the budget constrictions, despite all of the bumps along the road, we all came together and just made something that started out as words on a piece of paper. To be in this industry, not only as an actor, but as a creative in general, whether that be, you know, on a computer screen or on the big silver screen, you have to have a hunger, and AI will never have that hunger. The whole reason I made this YouTube channel years and years ago is because I have that hunger, right? I always wanted to be an entertainer, whether that be through, you know, the things that I'm writing and acting in, or through just like, you know, personality, right? I wanted to make stuff to provide comfort to people. If I did not have a creative outlet, I would literally be a severely depressed, unfulfilled person who did not like her life, right? And I know that there's a lot of other creatives who feel the same way as me, right? Where it's literally like, I have to do this, right? Even if when I was living as a nurse, right? I had to make time for my YouTube channel. I had to make time to do acting gigs here and there because it feels like a part of my survival or something almost. I know that sounds dramatic, but I mean, what can I say? I truly am an actress at heart. And there's lots of people out there who are just like me where we don't make stuff because we're programmed to. We make stuff because it makes us feel something that AI could never be, alive. So yes, all in all, they made an AI actress. Let's hope that it's the first and the last, and although we are on the precipice of a great threat to the creative industry, you know, they can make as much AI slop as they want. It doesn't mean we have to watch it. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and let's remember, movie magic only happens because of people, okay? And let's keep it that way. Let's keep it that way. I don't know, maybe take some time today to watch a good movie, rewatch your favorite comfort show, whatever, what have you. And yeah, those were my thoughts. I hope you have a great day, and until next time.